questions to keep myself aligned. Waste away the hours doing what I should, knowing that my soul tells me it's not for my own good.
All right, so what can I tell you about an empath? As I've been doing this work, I've worked with a lot of people who were chronically depressed, chronic anxiety, chronic fatigue, a lot of chronics, right? Because they're diagnosed really fast. Agoraphobia, fibromyalgia. So I work a lot with these types of people, a lot. And I found that sometimes, especially ones that had been put into like a mental institution for a little while, would come to me and they tried everything else and they couldn't understand why they couldn't, you know, all these things that they were, like nothing was helping them. So I'd start talking to them about what they had been through in their lifetime, like hearing their story, right? Everybody's got a story. So while I'm listening to their story, I'm like, what is going on here? Because the story that they're telling me, you know, 1 and 1 are not equaling 2. Like there's no way that this person went through this, which they did go through a certain thing, but I don't see where it would take them to that step where they're chronic anything. So I started studying empaths because I was just starting to find out that I am one too. Hi, Anne-Marie. Hi, Eclipse. So everything was starting to come together for me and the information just started showing up for me. So let me just break down what an empath is first, and then we're going to get into all the different kinds of it. Today, we're also going to do a quiz to find out what kind of empath you are, how strong an empath you are, and also we're going to do this awesome meditation tonight. So, in our brains, we have mirror neurons, okay? I don't know how many of you know about mirror neurons, but we have them. They are there to allow us to duplicate. So duplicate emotion, duplicate things that we see, to learn, you know, it allows us to duplicate things. In some of us though, 20% of the population actually, in some of us, those mirror neurons don't have filters, okay? So usually they have filters that are going to filter the emotions so you don't overfeel something or you don't over-sense something. So if they don't have filters, here's what's happening. If you are an empath, you can be an emotional empath, you can be a physical empath, or you can be an intuitive empath. And from those branch out a whole bunch more kinds of empaths. If you are any of these kinds of empaths, especially an emotional and a physical, you are actually feeling other people's stuff. Okay? So what that means is you think that it's yours because you don't know you're an empath. So you start feeling everybody's depression, anxiety, stress, especially in this day and age, right? You can actually feel their joy too and their sorrow. So it's not all bad stuff. But when we feel really good, we don't question that, right? So it's usually when we feel really bad, we're having chronic depression, agoraphobia. Like that's usually a lot of times a high empath because they don't even want to leave their house because they can't. Because they're really feeling everybody's stuff. And they, for some reason, think that brick and mortar is going to protect them, but it's not. So they're just afraid to leave the house because it's too intense, right? So as we're walking through other people's fields, because our aura, let me just back up. We have an energy body, and an energy body, we have an aura that's all the way around us, and it can go anywhere from 6 feet to like 66 feet away from us. So as we're starting to walk through people's auras, we're feeling their energy. And some empaths are so strong that they can feel stuff that's happening on the other side of the world. They can feel, there is no limit. They can feel things. I've worked with empaths and we have found out like a lot about their gifts, and they can actually feel things from other dimensions. Like it's just insanity. So it's actually super cool. The great thing is when we find out that someone is an empath, and I'm going to talk about it some more, I'm going to get into it, just get really excited about it. So when we find out that someone is an empath, now they know the reason why they're going through what they're going through, why they're feeling pain in their body, why they're feeling so sad, why they're feeling so depressed. Most of it is not theirs. So when I teach them all the strategies and the tips on how to separate themselves from, that's their energy, this is mine. So when we start to separate them from this different energy, all of a sudden they're like, I don't really feel so bad. Well, of course you don't, because most of it's not yours. The other interesting thing about an empath, they need to only take a sliver of the medication that a regular, normal person needs to take. Meaning, again, when they're put into these institutions or hospitalized or anything, they're given medication, right? So number one, they're in a place full of people who feel bad. Really not the place for them. Number two, now they're being medicated, which for them, that much of medication is going to overdose them. It's too much. Okay? So putting them in this place is like the absolute worst thing that you could ever do. Hi, Helen. So now, we've got this person who's feeling everybody's stuff and who's over medicated. So when they leave there, they're still a mess, because there's really no, unless somebody tells them what's going on and helps them with it. Doctors have their place in this world, absolutely. But they don't deal with the subtle energies of the body. So the minute you go into the doctor and you're like, I feel like this, I feel like that, I feel depressed, I feel stressed out, the first thing that they're going to want to do is put you on some antidepressants. And then they might go even further depending on how bad you are. I have worked with clients that their family members have committed suicide. Here's the thing about that. Empathy, being an empath, is inherited. It's hereditary. So let's go back a generation or two. If that person didn't know that they were an empath, which they probably didn't, because people were not as enlightened, then they can't deal with what they're feeling. And there's no one to help them. So in a lot of cases, they end up doing something pretty drastic. Sometimes addiction, drug addiction, alcohol, any way to make them stop feeling what they're feeling. Okay? A physical empath feels what you feel physically. So all of a sudden their back hurts, their stomach hurts, they got a headache, they're feeling these things, not theirs. They're mirroring someone else that's probably in their proximity, that they are picking up, and their body is mirroring what is going on with them. Okay? So that's also a type of empath. And then we have an intuitive empath, and that's someone that can I'm an intuitive empath. So how it works for me is that I'm actually able to help people figure out how to heal, because I kind of connect with them on some level. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just kind of this way that I connect. So I'm an intuitive empath. So I'm not an emotional empath. I'm not a physical empath, but I am an intuitive empath. So from those branches of empaths, there's a whole bunch more, which I'm going to talk about. Narcissists, sociopaths, what was the other one that I wanted to talk to about? Oh, psychopaths. Psychopaths, sociopaths, and narcissists. Yeah, they're not empathic at all. Their filter is so big, they can't feel anything. Okay, so they're the exact opposite of an empath. And a lot of times empaths actually partner up with narcissists. They're like targets for narcissists. So if you are an empath and you find that you have or if you feel like you've got a lot of narcissists coming into your life, then this could be the reason why. Okay? So there's a little bit about empaths. There is so much information about them that it's really difficult for me to tell you everything in one video. I will tell you about different kinds of empaths though. So there's an empath called psychometry. And psychometry, it's the ability to receive messages or information, impressions from objects and photographs. This is a type of empathy. Okay? So it doesn't have to be from a person. You can get it from an object. All right? Telepathy, right? We've all seen that, the ability to read people's thoughts. This is also a form of empathy. Okay? Because you're mirroring. You can hear you can sense what they are thinking. Okay? Mediumship, the empathic ability to feel the presence of energies of spirit. So I am a medium empath. All right? I have that. So that's something that I do. The cool thing about empaths too is that they have the natural ability to be healing facilitators. That's just natural in them. 20% of the population, I've already said that, are empathic. And as a child, most empaths probably didn't fit in. They were probably more of a recluse on their own. Okay, maybe picked on, mostly. Okay, so this is hi everyone that's coming in, Yvonne and Heather. So there were a lot of them were picked on. They have difficulty in crowded places. I have difficulty in crowded places. I cannot walk into a mall, say at Christmas time when people are like super stressed and stuff. I feel like the minute I walk in, I'm being choked. I can't stand it. Okay. I have to run in, run out. Like I can't go window shopping in a mall. I go Monday mornings when the mall first opens. Like that's when I go because I can't take it. And like I said, they have the natural ability to heal. Some of them can communicate with animals. Some of them can communicate with plants. Some of them can communicate with the earth. All right. So this is something. So geomancy, that's another one that I happen to have, is a geomancy. And this is the ability to read the energy of places. So if I have to go somewhere, sometimes you can't get me to go there. Like I want to go, but I actually can't open my front door to go. I put my hand on the doorknob and I can't actually leave my house to go. And this has happened a few times to me. And then it turns out something horrible happened in that place. So there are some locations that I can't go to. So that's geomancy. So some people can actually go to a place and they feel it. I went to one place and it was horrible. It was actually a healing center. I'm not going to say where it was, but it was a healing center. And my friends who went there all the time used to try to get me to go there for the meditations. And every time I tried to go, I could not leave the house. So one night I got tired of always saying no to them and they were getting a little peeved with me. So I was like, all right, I'll come. And as soon as I walked in the door of this place, I managed to get myself there. As soon as I walked in, you have to take your shoes off and stuff. So there was nobody at the entry. So I walked in, took my shoes off. And this is the first and only time this has ever happened. As soon as I walked in, it was like, have you guys ever watched the Transformers? You know the movie, the movie with the Transformers where the cars turn into like those big beings from outer space? Okay, so it was kind of like that. So I walked in and all of a sudden I actually heard like this shield going up around me and I heard it. And I was like, holy crap, like I need to get out of here. So I was backing out, put my shoes on, I'm backing out. My friend saw me. I was like, crap, I had to walk back in again and go through that, but I knew that I was really protected because I heard it. Couldn't wait. Couldn't even breathe in that place. Like, so I couldn't wait to get out of there. So this is geomancy. So that one I can explain because I know that one firsthand. Precognition. This is the ability to feel when something is important is about to happen. Okay? And claircognizant, that is also another one that I am. So thoughts get implanted in my head. Right? So all of a sudden I'm talking to somebody and just a thought comes in like it's my thought, but it's not because I wasn't thinking that. So it will just get planted into my head. So it's just kind of a knowing. So these are all empathic abilities. There are so many more. Dream empaths, right? There's so many kinds of empaths. But the great thing about knowing this is knowing that if you do suffer from depression, if you do suffer from fibromyalgia, if you do suffer from some of these things, it's quite possible that you're an empath. And all that means is that, number one, you know the reason. Knowing the reason is like, now you can take action, right? I have like a 12-step plan, almost like the 12-step plan for alcoholics, but I have a 12-step plan that I put together that I teach people strategies and tips on dealing with how to be an empath. This is an actual gift. I have one of my friends who is an empath, and she was getting dreams constantly. Like she would go into a paralysis in her dreams, and she would dream about her home where she lives. She lives with her parents, so her parents' house, but it was her parents were in it, but they weren't really her parents, and there was something wrong. So I took her into what was kind of like a past life regression, only I took her into that dimension, that place, like it was a mirror dimension. We went there, and it turns out that the house that kind of mirrors her house here, so her house was, before it was put up, there was a tribe of Indians living there. The Indians had been killed, but there was one that stayed behind, and he was waiting for the rest of them to come back. So he was causing havoc in that house, which was then causing havoc in their house here. So by us crossing him over, everything that was happening in her house here stopped. So that was her ability as an empath. Not everybody is like that. Some people are just going to be crossing people over. Some people will be like natural healers. They'll be able to sit and coach people and help them. Some people will work with children, with babies that are being born. There's so many things that you could be doing as an empath to be giving back to the world. So if you think that you're struggling right now as an empath, I can tell you, you have an amazing gift. And to know how to control it and how to use it, you can really do some good if you choose in this place. And I think that it's an amazing, amazing gift. So it's just this great way of turning it around. So far with what I've said, does anybody have any questions? I'm just going to hold up near here and just wait for a minute and see if anyone has any questions. I talk really fast, I know, and sometimes I don't say everything. So I just want to make sure that you guys got what I'm talking about, that I was clear. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm just going to wait before we start the quiz. So everybody should have pen and paper. If you don't, you can take this moment to go get it. Thanks, Lacey. And so I'll give you that moment to go get it so you get prepared. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to be asking you some questions that are simple, yes or no. Okay? And all I want you to do with these questions is first of all, I really need you to be honest with yourself. Okay? You don't need to tell me the answer. If you do share the number that I ask you for at the end, that would be great. If you don't want to, that's okay. It's your personal business. But in saying that, you need to be honest. You can't just make yourself pretend you're an empath, okay? So let's just be honest with ourselves so that we can make sure that if you are struggling with something, we are dealing with it in a proper, that you can be able to deal with it in a proper way, okay? So, just going to give this another 30 seconds and then we are going to get started. Okay, so how can I tell if they're my thoughts, feelings, or if other people's stuff? We are going to talk a little bit about that. First, let's find out if you're an empath. If the answer is yes, that's your answer right there. Okay, but there is a way to create division between yourself and someone else. Okay, so we are going to talk a little bit about that tonight, and then I'm going to decide if I'm going to give you all 12 steps tonight or not. So we're going to see, okay? So if you're all ready, here's the first question. Okay, so yes or no, and please be honest with yourself, and then I'll read the results to you after, okay? So number one is, have I ever been labeled oversensitive, shy, or introverted? Okay, so that would be your number one question, just yes or no. Okay, if you're a little bit of, whatever, just pick your best answer, okay? The first thing that you feel that comes up, okay? Don't overthink it. Number 2, do I often feel anxious and overwhelmed? Number 3, this is a big one for me. Do I feel ill when faced with arguments or yelling? Do I feel ill when faced with arguments or yelling? This is another big one that I grew up with. Number 4, do I feel out of place and like I don't fit in? Do I feel out of place and like I don't fit in? Number 5, am I easily exhausted by crowds and I need to be alone afterward to recharge? Number 6, do strong odors, loud noises, or excessive talk drain me? Number 7, do scratchy clothes irritate me, or am I sensitive to chemicals? I hear you, Jessica. Number 8, would I rather drive myself to an event in case I want to leave early? I do that all the time. Would I rather drive myself to an event in case I want to leave early? Number 9, do I have a tendency to overeat to deal with my stress? Do I have a tendency to overeat to deal with my stress? Number 10, do I fear feeling suffocated in intimate relationships? Do I fear feeling suffocated in intimate relationships? Number 11, am I easily startled? Number 12, do I have a strong response to caffeine or medication? Number 13, do I have a low tolerance to pain? Number 14, I do this one. Do I have a tendency to isolate myself socially? Number 15, do I tend to take on other people's stress, emotions, or pain? Number 16, do I do one task at a time because multitasking overwhelms me? Number 17, do I find that I often go to nature to recharge? Number 18, and this used to be me, oh my God. Do I need a long time to recover after being with difficult people? I used to be horrible at this. I got it now, but I used to be awful at this. Do I need a long time to recover after being with difficult people? Number 19, am I more comfortable in rural places or small towns than in cities? And number 20, am I more comfortable one-on-one as opposed to being in large groups? So, does anybody want to share their number of yeses? Hello? Just give it a few seconds and see if anyone's brave enough to share with me. $16 for Eclipse, 10 for David, 12 for Lacey, Jamie 12, Grace 17, Sue for 13, oh, 17, Ursula 12, Jessica 18, and Dawn is 19. 11, definitely two that could go, oh, could go either way. Okay, got you. Barbara, 10. All right, guys, thanks for sharing those numbers. So let's see what those numbers mean. 14, I missed one. Okay. So 1 to 5 questions that you're just like a sort of a light empath. 6 to 10 means that you are a moderate empath, and a lot of people can be this. Okay, so moderate empath. 11 to 15 means that you are a strong empath, and 16 or more means you are full out, baby, full out empath. So I guess the next question is, are you a physical or emotional empath? Do you guys want to do this one too? If I get 3 yeses, I'm going to go ahead with this. Do you want to find out if you're physical or emotional, or do you all know? Why are you saying, wow, Jamie? Okay. All right. So let's find out if you're a physical or an emotional empath. All right. So question number 1, emotional and physical. I'm definitely emotional. Okay. You can be both. You can, in fact, have a mixture of all 3. Okay. You can be a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So that is for sure. You're not definitely tied to one or the other. Okay. You wear it. Physical is a tough one. Physical is a tough one because you're feeling pain in your body, right? So it's a tough one sometimes to deal with. I mean, emotions, you can tend to mask them if you really need to, but physical is hard, right? Because it hurts, okay, a lot of times. So, and depending on the person's pain that you're mirroring, like who knows, all of a sudden you're somewhere and you've got you're feeling hernia pain or something, so it could be pretty brutal. So let's find out who is a physical empath. Pain all the time. Okay. And there's ways of dealing with that. There is ways of dealing with that. So I do want to tell you that there is a light at the end of the rainbow here, because there is ways of doing it. And I wasn't going to give out all 12 strategies tonight, but I think that I'm going to. Okay. So I will give you guys that just because I like you. Okay. So let's go. Physical. Do I look like a Keebler elf tonight? I feel like I look like a bit of a Keebler elf. Okay. Anyways, am I a physical empath? All right. 1. Have I ever felt pain while being next to someone else who's in pain? And I'd like everyone to answer these, okay? Because like I said, you can be a little bit of one or the other, okay? Or both. 2. Do I become physically ill when I am in crowds? Some of the questions will be repetitive, okay? Thank you. 3. Have I been labeled a hypochondriac? 4. Do I react to others' stress with physical symptoms in my own body? 5. Am I energized by certain people but exhausted by others? 6. Do I react to others' stress with physical symptoms in my own body? 7. Do I react to others' stress with physical symptoms in my own body? 8. Do I react to others' stress with physical symptoms in my own body? 5. Am I energized by certain people but exhausted by others? 6, do I visit doctors regularly but without diagnosis or treatment? 7, do I have mysterious symptoms, or am I often fatigued? 8, do I prefer to be at home because crowds deplete me? 9, am I physically sensitive to sugar, alcohol, or processed food? That's a biggie for me. And I'd like you to total up your yeses there, and then just wait because we're going to do the questions for the emotional empath, okay? So now for the emotional empath. 1, do I have a tendency to pick up other people's emotions? 2, do I tend to feel emotionally exhausted after a conflict? 3, do crowds make me anxious, depressed, or exhausted? 4, do I have a desire to fix people and take their problems away? 5, am I able to feel others' emotions even when they aren't expressed? 6, do I have difficulty separating my own feelings from others? 7, do I tend to neglect myself to take care of others? 8, do I tend to overeat to cope with stress? 9, do sugars, carbs, and specific foods cause mood swings for me? So just count up your yeses in both the physical and then in the emotional. And if you have 3 or 4 yeses in a category, you are a moderate empath in that category. Okay? So it can be in one or both. All right? And if you have 5 or more questions in that category, you are definitely an empath of that type. Okay? And if you have more than 5 in both, then you're pretty strong. Okay? In both of them. All right? So these are some questions to help you to understand if you are an empath. Jamie is both. 7 physical, 8 emotional. Wow. 7 and 8. Okay, that's awesome. That's great. And that does, so by knowing this, Grace, 7 and 9. So by knowing this, how does that make some of you feel? Like you can share it or not share it, but like knowing that maybe some of the stuff that you've been struggling with, okay, yes, 4 and 7, that you've been struggling with in your life had nothing to do with you. 4 and 7. 4 and 7 had nothing to do with you. 1 and 4. Right? So some of the stuff that you struggle with, 5 and 5, thank you, Barbara, David, Lacey, like everybody's sharing, and that's awesome. So just knowing that some of it's not yours. It's kind of awesome, right? Would be great to be able to deal with it. Yes. Okay, it would be able to deal with it, and there are ways to deal with it. So we are going to go over the strategies today because I am just too much of a nice person not to give them all to you. So here we go. Yes, it could be why, but without talking to you, Joanne, I can't answer that for sure, because fibromyalgia is basically energies that is stuck. I want you to think of it like it's an object, right? So it's stuck in different parts of your body. So this could also be from your own if there's a lot of negativity in your story, is that there's a lot of things that you've had challenges and struggles with in your life, if you are highly stressed, right? So these types of things can also be part of the fibromyalgia. Now, if on top of all of that, you are also an empath, then yeah, right? So I work with people with fibromyalgia all the time. Okay, so that's, and you know, after anywhere from 10 to 20 sessions, they are so much better and not feeling like near what they were going through. So there is a way out of these things, especially fibromyalgia. 'Cause fibromyalgia to me, and you know, don't be offended, but I think it's like kind of like a made up thing, because it's all stress and energy and anxiety related, right? So there's just, it's caused in the body, but because of what we've gone through. Everything that we go through in this life is caused from stress. Every chronic illness that we have, every mood disorder that we have, every single, sorry, not from stress, from energy. Everything starts with energy. Everything starts with energy. Any single thing you've gone through in your lifetime starts on an energy level first. Once, you know, like the Hoarders, you guys have watched the Hoarders, right? So I don't know if I've explained this to you guys in another video, but you know, those houses with, you know, the hoarders and, you know, all that stuff that they got right up to the top of their rooftops, right? So think of all the things that are going on in your body with all this negativity that you've been building up and building up and building up. It's kind of like the house of hoarders, right? So all of a sudden, the energy can't flow through your meridians. Meridians are like your veins, okay? Veins do your blood, meridians move your energy. Your chakras are blocked. Your energy pathways are blocked. So they have nowhere to go, right? So everything starts to get really piled up. And when that happens, it's like leaving vegetables on your counter for like a month. What happens? They start to grow chemistry assignments, right? It's gross. It's runny. It's gross. It's disgusting. So what ends up happening is in your body, when this energy sits there like that, it starts to manifest. And what it manifests into something in a mood disorder, in your mentally or physically. Okay? And it comes out in all kinds of ways. Stress changes the matter in your brain. Yes, it does. Our beliefs are our biology. Different things that we feel, these just stress, like it's chemical reactions, right? Did you know that stress is only in the English language? The word stress is only found in the English language. There is not a word for stress, apparently, in any other language. And we in Western civilization accept this as part of our life. Right? Can you feel physical empathy in a designated area? Don't know, but that could actually be an energy blockage in that area. I think more that it would be an energy blockage. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like that's more of an energy blockage. I tend not to eat at all versus overeating. Could very well be. So just understanding how energy works, I need you guys to like expand your minds, because this thing, energy created us. It can do a lot that we're not even aware of. So we have to understand that it, of course, has this ability to do this stuff, right? When the body says no, yeah, right? We have to learn to communicate with our body. We have to learn to communicate with our energy. So here is some strategies and tips, okay, that I work with. These are general strategies and tips. If I'm working with one person, one-on-one, I also tend to customize some stuff for them too, for their situation. But here's some general strategies and tips. Number one, I'm going to leave number one till last because we're actually going to be doing number one, okay? So number two is being fully present in your body. That means some gentle some gentle exercise or vigorous exercise. Why? Because energy gets caught in our body. So when we stretch our muscles, when we stretch and flex, we're actually releasing that energy. Okay? So you want to do some gentle and or vigorous exercise. Having a loving relationship with your body. Like, stop beating the crap out of yourself, seriously. You need to have a loving relationship in place of fear and loathing. That doesn't mean that you don't make yourself better. Like, notice what needs to be better, but don't hate yourself, okay? So your body is your temple. It's very important that you really take care of this as an empath, Okay? Avoid processed foods, junk food, gluten, sugar, white sugars, and flours. These things you are sensitive to them. Why? Because most of them are processed. They have bleach in them. They've got a lot of stuff in it that your body can't handle as an empath. Remember, your mirror neurons and stuff are overactive, okay? They are overactive with no filters, okay? You cannot handle this stuff. So you want to make sure that you are not eating it, okay? Understand what you're putting onto your body. Empath. You start putting all kinds of chemicals on your body, in your shampoo, this type of stuff, you are going to react to it more than anybody else. Okay, so you need to start paying attention to what you're putting on your body as well as in your body. This is your largest organ, right? You're ingesting, even if you put it on yourself. Here's another thing that I found people do, because I used to do reflexology, right? Why do you clean your bathtub when you're standing in it and using chemicals? Your feet have the largest pores in your body. The only other place, all of you that do CBD will know this, the only other place that you can put something in your bloodstream as fast as under your feet, under your tongue. Okay? So, rule of thumb, if you wouldn't swallow it, don't stand in it. Okay? So, that goes straight into the bloodstream. As an empath, can't even tell you how bad this is for you. Okay? Eliminate low quality salt. Use Himalayan instead. And supplements. You want vitamin B. You need some vitamin C to increase your energy and to balance your adrenals. Okay? That's to deal with the fatigue. Okay? So that's being fully present in your body. That's number 2. Number 3 is to eliminate energy vampires. Remember, I haven't done number 1 yet. I'm saving that to the last. So, eliminating energy vampires, setting clear boundaries, or just eliminating toxic people out of your life altogether. Okay? Communicating with yourself is number 4. Start to ask yourself, is this mine? Now, we've done a video on pendulums. How to get a yes and no answer out of your pendulum. Start using it. Is this mine? Is what I'm feeling mine? Okay? If you get the answer yes, simply say return to sender. In your mind, just sending it back with love. We're not hucking it back. We're not, pushing it away. We're just return to sender, please. Okay? Return it to them because it's not yours. Okay? So is this mine? Use your pendulum. Go with your intuition. Okay? The power of your voice can command the discomfort in your body. You have to be in control of yourself here. So that means you are the boss. You are driving this vehicle. So you need to be firm with your body and your energy about what you want. Send it back, please. Okay? Number 5, step away kindly and purposefully. So what this means is if you're in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, step away. My daughter has muscular dystrophy and hurts all the time. I think I'm picking up. Yeah, you would be. If you're a physical empath, yeah, you're picking up on it for sure. Okay? So step away purposefully. If you are in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, step away. You don't have to just walk out of the room. You can just say, oh, I had an appointment or whatever, but you need to get out of there. Okay? You can't stay there. Do not force yourself to remain in an uncomfortable situation. And remember, the word no is actually a complete sentence. Okay? So that's something that, people have difficulty saying no. Yeah, it's a complete sentence. Limit physical contact in uncomfortable situations. Hugs are a choice. Eye contact is a choice. Hugging is a choice. Holding hands is a choice. You do not have to do these things. I'm a very huggy kind of person with my clients and everyone, always hugging people. If their energy is not in the right place, okay, no hugs. All right? That's energy transfer right away. Okay? If I'm in a room or I'm at someone's house and they're leaving and everybody wants to hug everybody, if I don't feel like it, I got to go to the bathroom right away. But like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. Sorry, bye. Talk to you later. Like, I get myself out of that room. Okay? If I don't want to hug someone, I will not. Okay? If I don't want to make eye contact with someone, I will not. Okay? I don't have to if it's going to make me feel uncomfortable. Drinking lots of water. Empaths love water. Okay? So just sitting in water, swimming in water, drinking lots of water. So water is your friend. All right? Baths with Epsom salt, if you have a bathtub. Epsom salts, Himalayan salts, magnesium. These types of things are really good to put in your bath. If you have crystals that you like, put them in the tub with you. Make that time that you're in the tub like your sanctuary. This is where you get to cleanse everybody's stuff off of you. Okay? So just use that time in the tub as a releasing all of that into the water. Okay? So the tub is your sanctuary. Yes, they have, Chelsea. Sorry. All right. Incorporate crystals. Number 8 is setting limits and boundaries. So don't be a doormat and don't let others drain you. It's time to take control of yourself, like I said. Okay, so if you feel like you've been a doormat, it's time to stop. Okay, you're not doing yourself any favors. And if you have difficulty with that, I know that I'm giving you guys a lot of stuff, but you may need some one-on-one. Okay, so just to let you know that. This is not easy just to do sometimes by yourself in some cases. And that's okay to ask for help. Number 9, cut cords. So how I cut cords is like this. Before I come into my house, or if I've done an exceptionally difficult energy treatment with someone, or even a coaching session, and they brought a lot of energy into my house, I imagine my arms like 2 blades. Okay, that is my intention in my mind. These are 2 blades. And I simply cut the cords off of me, and I'm just like sending them back with love. Here you go. Okay, so just sending them back. I don't want to carry everyone's energy on me. So cords is every time we interact with people, it's like if you could see yourself as energy, you have all these, looks like a spider web all around you, right? Because every time we connect with someone or we interact with someone, there's like cords. And if we're constantly interacting with some people in a negative way, those cords can be big, like tree trunks, right? So we need to cut them off and send them back. Okay? I know it might look ridiculous to you, but it works. So you just have to believe that you're doing this because your intention, you're telling your energy, I want to send this back. I'm cutting it off. I want to send it back. Okay? So just cutting cords. Like if you come home from work and you're stressed, don't bring that stress into your house. Cut it off at the door and then come in. Okay? Alone time. So in your home, I would like you to think about setting up an altar. It can be a small table. It doesn't have to be a big table, but just a table that's got maybe a candle on it, some crystals, some things that mean something to you, sentimental value, okay? But the reason why I say set it up that you don't have to keep setting it up and put it somewhere. I don't care if you have to stick it in your closet, in the corner of your bedroom, like just a place, okay? That is, call it your altar, call it your meditation table, call it whatever you want, but just an altar, a table with these things on them. And when you are there, I want you to no tech, right? So turn off your phones, turn off everything, no TVs, no nothing. And you're going to give yourself this time to just sit in your own energy. So let's say, for instance, you have a house full of people and you're feeling a little choked, okay? Just excuse yourself as if you were going to the bathroom. Go to your altar, sit down. Take a couple of minutes and breathe. Get yourself back together. And then go back in. Your altar is another place that is your sanctuary, just like your bathtub. Okay, this is the place that has the things that you like, that you love on it, and you can just sit there and sit by yourself, get into your own energy, cut your cords, and just breathe. You don't have to be a master meditator, just breathe. Okay? Spend time in nature to ground. Anytime you feel not focused and you're thinking about 3,000 things at the same time, you are not grounded. Okay? Guaranteed. So if it's nice outside, run out, take off your shoes, stand in the grass. Okay? Just feel that grass beneath your feet, instantly grounded. On the sand, I don't care where, but get outside. If it's cold outside and you can't do that, you do know what it feels like to stand in the sand. You do know what it feels like to stand barefoot in the grass. Just close your eyes, stand by your altar or wherever you are, and just be there for a minute or two, and you will be grounded. It's really simple to ground yourself, okay? And bring yourself back into focus, all right? Number 12, remember to sleep and rest. This is important. So sleep is restorative, rejuvenating, and healing. Getting enough sleep is maybe the most important thing that you can do for yourself. So super important to sleep. The one thing that I tell all my clients that say that they can't sleep, because that is a big thing, bedtime ritual. When you put your kids to bed, when you were a kid, if you don't have any kids and went to bed, what was your bedtime ritual? You probably had to go brush your teeth, put on your pajamas, maybe have a bath, got a story, whatever it was, but there was a ritual. And because our beliefs are our biology, you knew that every time you went through this cycle of events, this domino effect, that your subconscious was like, oh, it's bedtime, we have to go to sleep now. Okay? So set up a bedtime ritual for yourself that's like a half an hour, 40 minutes before you go to sleep. If you have trouble sleeping, right? So that your body starts to get to know. And it might take you a week or two to come up with a ritual that you like. You're going to try different things. But try to come up with one that's like 30 to 40 minutes that you can do before you go to sleep, so that your body starts to understand that every time this stuff happens, it's bedtime. It's time for rest. You cannot go from high to off. Okay? You can't. So you need to have time to rest. Away from technology, away from all that stuff, to just chill for a minute and wind down so that your body can go into sleep and prepare for sleep. All right? So these are some of the strategies. I'm going to do the first one with you right now. You have to be kind to yourself. You can either do some of these strategies or not do some of these strategies. It's always your choice. Everything that I'm showing you here and talking to you about is always your choice. Okay? So the first one is about, I call it expansion. So we've all heard about protecting ourselves, putting ourselves into an egg or putting up a shield or whatever and protecting ourselves. And it's a good one. And there's times where you're going to use that. But here's the difficulty that I have with that. If you imagine yourself in an egg, well, what if negative energy was like sticky notes? Then guess what? It can just stick all over the outside of your egg. Okay? So, how about expanding? Our energy is huge. Okay? It's massive. It's more than this body. It's huge. So why not expand out into the universe? Okay? Expand your energy out. And then I do something called, I call it the Steven Seagal. Have you guys ever watched the Steven Seagal movie? And he's got that Aikido thing happening, and he just uses energy against itself. So when people are punching him, he just with no stress at all, he can just push people right out of his way. Love that guy. So the same thing. When you're expanded, which I'm going to expand you all right now. So when you're expanded out in space somewhere, nothing can stick to you. You can just move out of the way, right? And the really cool thing about being expanded is that when you get into that state of mind, into that state of trance, when you get there and you can almost look down at yourself on the earth, your problems seem kind of small. everything seems like, yeah, I can take care of that. That's not such a big deal. Okay, thanks guys for joining in. So, you know, that's not such a big deal. I can handle that. So sometimes when we can actually disassociate from ourselves for just a minute, the things that we are so big for us are easier to deal with. Okay? So, I'm going to ask you guys to get into a very comfortable space. Okay? Make sure that you're kind of, if you're wearing anything that's tight, just take it off right now and just be comfortable, because we're going to go on a little trip. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes. And everybody get relaxed. Now I'm going to explain a chakra to you guys that most people don't know about. There is a little chakra that's under, I don't know if you guys know what chakras are. For those of you that do know, you know, I will be doing chakras in other lives. They are spinning wheels of energy in our body that, I'm saying it really fast now, that are attached to different organs and glands, and just sort of like thinking of it like big fans in a warehouse. They're bringing in energy, like bringing in fresh air, letting out stale air. So in our case with the chakras, it's bringing in fresh energy, pushing out the energy that we don't need, that's negative. So we do need positive and negative. There has to be a balance, right? I like a yin and a yang. So underneath our feet, about 1 foot, 1 to 2 feet below us, is one of our chakras called the Earth Chakra. And that, sorry, the Earth Star. I'm sorry, it's not called the Earth Chakra, it's called the Earth Star. So that one is an amazing little chakra, and it follows us around everywhere we go like a little stalker, okay? And it has our DNA origins, our karmic patterns, our past life information, but it is our super grounding chakra. That's what grounds us to the very center of this earth, okay? And it is also where our whole chakra system is grounded to, okay? So our whole chakra system is actually grounded to this chakra. Okay, Barbara, that's okay. You can watch it later. And it also grounds us to the very center of the earth. Okay? So when we're doing this, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to connect with that chakra, because we want to be very grounded. And then we're going to expand. Okay? Because we want to make sure that we're very tethered to this planet and then expand. Okay? So I'm hoping everybody's ready. And what I'm going to ask you all to do right now, do I have music? We'll do this like this. That's okay. So what I'm going to ask you all to do right now is to close your eyes. Okay? Just close your, actually, you know what? I'm going to try and find some music. So just give me 1 second to find some music. I wish I could play music on my iPad and do a face live at the same time, but I can't. I hope you all can hear this. And I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes now. And just start with some nice, deep, diaphragmatic breaths. Breaths from your diaphragm. And I'm just going to ask you to take some nice, deep breaths like that. 3 or 4 breaths, just like that. Really focusing on that breath. Focusing on the sound of my voice. Any other sounds you hear, other than the sound of my voice, just allows you to breathe deeper, relax more, know that you are safe, secure, and always in control. Nice deep breaths. Any thoughts that come into your mind, just like leaves in a stream, thank them for coming and just set them aside, just like you're dropping leaves into a stream. Nice and gentle. Just breathing deeply, focusing on that breath, on the sound of my voice. And just taking your attention and perceiving in some way, sensing, feeling, seeing, or intending to perceive that earth star below your feet in the earth. How connected you are to this planet. Always connected, fully anchored, and I'd like you to imagine in some way that you can turn your eyes inward to see the things that you normally can't see. In some way, noticing, perceiving the beating of your own heart. However that looks to you, or feels, or senses to you is perfectly okay. There is no right or wrong. Perhaps you can see the breath entering your lungs expanding, contracting. Notice the blood coursing through your veins. And then I'd like you to turn your ears inward to hear the things that you normally can't hear. And perhaps you can hear the beating of your heart. Sense the energy moving through your meridians as you move deeper into the center of your quiet. Where nothing bothers you, nothing disturbs you. This time is just for you. Now I'd like you to imagine deep inside that there's like a door that opens up and your energy just expands, unfolds like a balloon. Very quickly, moving beyond the building that you are in, beyond the city where you live, beyond the country that you are in. Fully tethered and anchored to this earth, your energy is fully expanding, connecting with everything. Moving up into the universe, beyond our orbit, beyond this galaxy. And as you are fully tethered, connected to this planet, find some place in the universe where you feel good. And notice what you sense there. How free you feel. Imagine that you can almost look inside and see the energies that are not yours and just release them into the universe. Nothing can stick to you here. It just flows through you, being transformed, recycled back into positive, healing energy. Let's just take a moment and just be there. And perhaps you can notice your body way down, so small on that planet Earth, where your problems and struggles seem so far away. And each time you do this kind of expansion, you may find that while you are here, you'll be able to find the answers and the solutions to some of those struggles and challenges. Now, deep in your belly, I'd like you to imagine a fire. A fire that grows with each breath that you take. Allow yourself to perceive the yellows and the oranges and the reds of the flames and the blues. Each breath that you take, the fire grows. And think of all the things, the emotions, the feelings that you would like to release. And one by one, place them into the fire to be transformed into a beautiful white healing light. And as each one is transformed, allow it to spread into every cell, every atom, every proton, every neutron, into the space between the cells of your energy, of this body. And be thankful. Show gratitude to your energy for all that it does for you. And this beautiful energy that is yours in this wonderful universe that you are connected to forever and forever and forever. There is no beginning, there is no end. And just taking a moment and feeling the love, the unconditional love of this universe for you, that is also forever and forever and forever, and has no beginning and has no end. And as you continue to release, when you're ready, when you are ready, when you feel that you've released enough in this session, take a beautiful deep breath in. You can choose to stay expanded. You can live your life this way, above everything else that's going on. Or coming back down, taking a nice deep breath, and opening your eyes. When you're back, just simply say yes. Nice. Beautiful. Excellent. So does anybody want to share? Share how they're feeling now? I've been told that before. Thank you so much. Awesome. Relaxed and refreshed. Beautiful. So light. Awesome. Calm. Thank you. Amazing. So this is something that you all can do. Whether it's watching this part of the video again, but you can understand that it's not that difficult. And you can take as long as you want tonight. You don't have to come back. For the purposes of this video, I brought you back, but you can stay as long as you wish. And who knows what you might see or sense out there. A lot of times I'm expanded. I like to stay there, almost living in my peripheral. And that's okay. I don't always need to be fully right here in this space. I can live sort of above it all. And when I mean above it all, not that I think I'm like way above it all, not that, just kind of so I'm looking down and I'm not in the middle of everything. So it's a great way to be. And it's not that difficult. Okay. So just allowing yourselves to just chill and do this at your altar anytime. In the back. Okay? So some great ways that you can do this to release. Okay? Because we need to release stuff. Okay? And unless anyone has any questions, I'll wait a few moments here for questions or comments. I think I'm done with this tonight. I will ask you, you're welcome, Jamie, again, to please invite people to this group. Thanks, Lacey. Right back at you. I think that we all have stuff to share. You're welcome, Sue. And David, you're welcome. So yes, please invite people that you think that this might help. You're very welcome, Jessica and Ashley. That's okay. You can watch it in the replay. So yes, there is the closed group as well. We're going to get deeper into stuff in there. I went a little deeper than I was going to today, but that's okay. I don't mind. Oh, well, thank you for sharing your Friday night with me. So, and thank you for coming. This is an amazing thing. And I thank, I have to thank Lacey, big time for this, because I wouldn't have even thought to do this group without her. So I love that we have this place that we can do this. And if you do need some help one-on-one, I am here. Okay, please make the investment. It's not that big, in yourself, and get better. You do not have to suffer and struggle.
Look at my reflection in the mirror. I see that it's not the person who lives inside of me. Done with all the fear and doubts, the negativity.